Kevin, a defeat today against Salford, a narrow defeat and a cruel defeat. Overall, how did the players acquit themselves?
Very well. I think it's as good a performance that we've had. Start the game on the back foot a little bit. We knew they had an advantage in terms of height and the strength throughout the team and their squad. They're always going to be a threat from set pieces, but I think other than that, in the first half particularly, we kept them relatively quiet from open play. And grew into the game. I think Lynchy put a tackle in early on here, a bit of a reducer, and that really seemed to give everyone that belief and lifted the whole squad. And from then on, I thought we grew into the game and played really well at times.
The only goal came at a time when you were applying some really good pressure, as you did throughout the second half. How disappointing was it to concede when you did?
Yeah, I think it's Housley's gone to head it and it's come off at a crazy kind of angle, and they got onto the ball, delivered across, and I haven't seen it back as yet, but you kind of want someone to try and dig him out a little bit and defend a little bit better, but we'll be disappointed with it. We'll have to review it back and see if we could have done anything better. So really disappointing. We're at a time that we were kind of in the ascendancy, playing some really good football, getting into good areas. One or two times it let us down a little bit, and we said at half time we got a little bit too excited at times, trying to get the killer passes through and stuff, and it's kind of just to get in good areas and show a bit more composure and maybe put one or two extra passes in and work the areas a little bit more. We were a bit too keen at times, but in terms of the attitude and the energy, it was really impressive. I thought after some recent, let's say flatter performances, particularly at home, Alfreton and Nuneaton obviously, but I thought they gave it their all tonight, and they're absolutely disappointed and gutted in there obviously.
You mentioned that the team grew into the game. When you come up against a team like Salford, what's kind of the game plan? What's the approach? Is it to kind of stay in the game early on, then open up, or is that just the way it turned out?
No, we had a plan. Obviously, we've watched them. I've watched them 4 or 5 times in the last couple of months. John's watched them a couple of times recently as well. The scouts have been watching, so we knew they have the ability to change formation and personnel because of the size of their squad. And I think just the one change with Maynard coming in today. So it wasn't the case of hanging in the game. We wanted to come and impose ourselves on the game. We're at home. It was the kind of games as a player that the motivations should be there, and I think it was. After we grew into the game, and with David Lynchy and a couple of players doing some good things, the belief kind of come through. So the motivation playing against the top team should always be there as players, and I think we saw that today. It was a kind of throwing down the gauntlet to the players for myself as a manager to win those individual battles all over the pitch, and I thought we did that today. I think right throughout the team, we didn't carry anybody. I think a couple of games we carried 3 or 4 players. It affects you. Today they were all at it. And won most of the battles over the pitch, so that's why they're so disappointed in there as a team, because they absolutely gave everything, so they're disappointed.
Salford has some chances early on, some good early pressure, but you managed to get to half time with a clean sheet, which is something that's probably been missing lately. Overall, how would you assess the defensive performance?
Yeah, again, I thought it was good. Mark's made some good saves, we've got into good positions, we've been working quite hard on the shape of the back four. Listen, we've had so many clean sheets since the turn of the year. There's been lots of good things to write about, scoring goals and keeping clean sheets, and at the minute it's the way around at the minute, so we've been struggling a little bit, but we've been spending a bit of time, because of the amount of games, not so much on the pitch, but looking at the analysis and ways we can get into better positions defensively with the midfield, looking to track runs and be a lot more solid. So we've done that work. We've prepared for the games really well. We had a game plan with the 3 up top who all bring something different. Trying to get into those little pockets of space and try and get at the back four, which we did. We picked up a lot of good second balls. We were on the front foot a lot of the time. The defenders were really aggressive and did really well, and we got into some good positions, played some good football. It was an exciting game. I thought the fans all enjoyed it. We kept going right till the end, and they all got applauded off. So that's what I said to them there. That's the levels, that's the standards that we have to get to as a team every week against whoever we're playing. It's easy, as I said before, to raise your games against the top teams. Salford come to town and stuff. Those are these games. It's the other games that we really need to do that, and that's something we're learning as a group. There's some great characters in there. They're disappointed, but we have to prepare now and go again.
Seemed to be a 4-3-3 tonight. One of the players who kind of caught my eye was Osbornes. Seemed to be a different role for him tonight, playing deeper, and seemed to play close attention to Nick Horton. Can you just explain a bit about the role he had tonight? Yeah,
and that's it's a formation that we have played a lot of. I think he can play anywhere in the midfield, and even up top. He's a very good player. And it's something that we've looked at in videos. He does like to drop off and get us playing, and it was a simple one today. Be better than him, be better than Nick Horton, and see who can come out on top. And I think the first half they kind of cancelled each other out a little bit. He kept him quiet, which we asked him to do. We have put Lynch in there at times because he does such a great defensive job for the team, and it's adding a bit more responsibility for Elliot to play in that role, to do the job on him, which he did really well. Kept a very good player quiet, and eventually got subbed off, so that showed you how good a job he did. Found it a little bit more difficult to play and get on the ball, but he grew into the game again, and it allowed David and the two Davies to go and press high up the pitch and win the ball, which they did really well today. So we put him in there today, and it's something we'll look to do probably going forward as well. He a bit quieter on the ball, but he did a really good job defensive for us today.
Just finally, as we approach these final few games now, how important is it to lift everyone?
Yeah, again, it's about recovering in the right way now and making sure the players do all the right things. We've lost the game again, which is difficult to take, but there's ways of losing games, and it's a simple message. You get to those levels, more often than not, you're going to come out with a good result. So although we're disappointed, we go to Blythe knowing what we're capable of, and they work extremely hard for me on the training ground, and confident that we can recover better than them and go up to Blythe and get a positive result, because we are still looking over our shoulders a little bit. I don't want to be relying on other teams to make sure that we do stay safe now, and we've got 4 games to again really go and test ourselves as a group, and constantly putting the demands and pressures, as I say, probably every week here, on the players to prove that they can compete against some of the better teams, and they proved that tonight that they can.
Appreciate your time. Thanks.
You're welcome.